we've allowed our test to dry a little bit, and the application results, the initial application results are pretty promising. This is, it's been about 45 minutes. You can hear my finger running over the substrate, and it's flowed out. I wouldn't say like a traditional oil-based enamel, like Cellutone, Satin, and Pervo, but it's quite a bit like what I would characterize some of the newer water-reduced alkyd modified enamels, like Eco from Fine Paints of Europe, Advanced. But I also have another sample in my shop where I'm going to test the hide quality. This is red paint, obviously. It is Holland Lac gloss, and I'm going to paint our secret stuff onto this. One coat. There's some dust on this. It's just been sitting in our shop, and I'm going to sand it. I'm actually going to try to break it. This is 50 grit sandpaper, obviously not for finishing, but I'm going to run it over some parts of this. I'm going to cut in the edge a slight bit, kind of make this little corner here be the bad prep side. Actually, how about aggressive prep side is a better word. As you can tell, I've been cutting into the coverage the red coat pretty easily. For the rest of it, I'm going to lightly sand it with 400. You're going to get some lipstick. Let's make a little room in our workspace here. Again, synthetic brush, not a finished brush, just one that I've actually just taken here from the shop. And this material is not, it feels just like the wall paint. Whereas Eco, Benjamin Moore Advanced, Sherwin-Williams Pro Classic, quite a bit thinner. Something we do in-house, and I'm going to share with you, is that on the edges, we purposely let the paint drip over on the edge, and I'll show you why. I apologize, I'm not a professional video guy. This is just home video equipment. Again, this is some stock that we had. This is actually sprayed material that we were testing another product. It was the Cloverdale Paint Renaissance, their alkyd modified finish, interior and exterior graded, but we sprayed it on here. And so this represents a sample where we have a previous coat. This other sample that we have was basically on raw stock, raw stock that's been treated with a wood conditioner. So essentially raw stock. But here's the paint buildup on the side. That's a pretty impressive result right there. It's not cured. It still has some elasticity to it, but it's not tearing the rest of the coating. and it's coming off in one solid piece. Look at that. I'm a little anxious just to get some 400 on there. It's still a little tacky, but quite impressed. Quite impressed. Primarily what that tells us is if we have a drip, this is a technique that we use for clear coats on a when we have a drip, we want to cut it out. Some materials don't cut very well. This is going to cut very, very well. And as you see, this is substandard work. It's been slopped here in these details. That tells us that we can correct problems if we run into those in the field. Well, I have the video camera out. I'm going to show you some close-ups of the. If we look at our other sample, I'm not really seeing the brush strokes on this. So I'm confident with additional coats, this will lay out like how we envisioned. You can probably guess the reason why I did it on woodstock is I want to see the coverage. So right now, let's put on our second coat. Because as we all know, the quality of any finish depends on what you do first. Primer coats, undercoats, that's why we always use the very best, that's why we've always used the best enamel underbodies for, you know, our finishes with satin and purple or solutone. So we'll have a look at that when it's finished and dried. So we have a look at it. Right now when it's wet, you can see some of the roping. That, as I know from doing the first coat, that will level out.